Blue flower watercolor painting tutorial, and this time this is blue Agapanthus flower. Let's paint together. An outline drawing is done, which is available for download. With an elastic eraser removing the excess amount of graphite off the paper, we need to carefully remove as much as possible. This is a very light subject. Some petals are super light, so we don't need extra graphite marks visible. I will remove also while I paint. Now to color mixing, adding water to color palette. And for the main color, I will be using Ultramarine Blue, Manganese Violet. We can see in the reference there's a lot of blues and some violets as well. Manganese Blue, but it will be used only at the very end on some very light petals. For the green part, Sap Green, a little bit more of Sap Green, lemon yellow on one side for lighter, more yellowish green color, and on the other corner I'm putting Perylene Green and also Ultramarine Blue. I'm not mixing completely. I will adjust with my brush while I paint. When I need more cooler green or darker green or yellowish green, I have all pigments visible. Also taking lamp black for those little lanterns and adding transparent yellow, or you can add lemon yellow for more greener color mix. Adding a little bit more of Manganese Violet, a little bit of Ultramarine Blue, and slightly mixing them together. So I have a little bit of Manganese and Ultramarine Blue as well. Let's start painting. I will be mostly painting with finer tip brush because the areas of the painting are very small and tiny. All petals, all little buds are very small. This is a life-size painting of Agapanthus flower. It's not enlarged, so really detailed, really slow process is awaiting us. A little closer look. I added a very small amount of water to the petal that I'm painting and starting applying watercolors very transparently with the tip of the brush, constantly looking at reference. Starting with the flower which is facing towards the viewer, it is completely open. Petals are very light. The darker parts in this composition are closed buds of Agapanthus flower head, but I started with the lighter one. So take a closer look in the reference. You can pause the video and really zoom in, open the reference right beside your tutorial and really zoom in the reference and this area that we are painting at this moment. See how colors are going. Where is darker, where is lighter? These petals are very light, very transparent, and layers I'm keeping very light. As you can see, I'm painting with the tip of the brush and removing, if I have too much pigment on my brush, I'm removing it in the paper towel that I always keep in my left hand. The edges of these petals are slightly darker and more smoother inner part, and again a darker line in the middle. Still everything is done very transparent, and while the surface is slightly moist. colors are used that we pre-mixed, mainly Ultramarine Blue and Manganese Violet, and the mix of both. Also separately just clean, clear Ultramarine Blue and Manganese Violet. Closer to the center part of this open flower, the lines become a little bit darker, middle part also slightly darker, and closer to the tip it's lighter, but everything is super light, everything is super transparent. This is a test of your transparency, how you can make your watercolor super transparent and keep still the painting look realistic, but transparent and very light. It's all about diluting your pigment with water and adding a very small amount of pigment. Especially I am painting with professional watercolor pigments and they are super intense. You don't need a lot of pigment if you're painting with professional pigments, very small amount, and you can use it for a very long time. The first layers of these petals of these flowers are done very accurately and carefully, because in some areas some sections will be painted just with this one layer. So we need to be really careful and accurate with the outer edges, with the transitions. With the darker subjects it's a little bit easier. We can go quite fast with the first layer. We can not pay so much attention to some edges, to some details, but with light subject it's slightly different. We need to look for outer edges, not to go over them. We need to make very smooth and gradual transitions and work accurately, because some areas, some petals will have only just this first layer. Speeding up the painting process, this Agapanthus flower painting tutorial is available on my Patreon, and I was painting it for almost 2 hours. It's super detailed, super realistic, so come and join if you want to also try your skills and learn something new painting Agapanthus flower as my student. Adding a very small amount of indigo to my color palette, and to that indigo I'm adding a little touch of manganese violet for some more contrasty lines that I see in the reference. Very few lines, but very careful, don't overdo it. Just few buds have those darker lines. I'm adding finishing touches to this Agapanthus flower, finishing up this painting. The experience of painting such a detailed flower is amazing. Learned so much, enjoyed the process. Hope you also enjoyed this painting, this tutorial, and learned something new. I surely did, and really enjoyed the process. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching my tutorials, and see you in my next paintings. Bye bye.